Let us begin the auspicious moment here, the lighting of the Kuthavilakku. I request the dignitaries to please join us in lighting the Kuthavilakku as we are here to celebrate this beautiful moment. Beautiful beginning to South India Media Summit Season 2 2019. Request the dignitaries to please be seated, and I request Mr. K Pandiyarajan, Minister for Tamil Official Language and Tamil Culture, to declare this summit open and share a few words.
It's the first table that says.
My great pleasure in declaring this second South India Media Summit, the Federal South India Media Summit 2019. Let me declare it open. It's eminently apt at this moment to recall a very interesting quote given by the son of the soil, C.K. Prahalad, when he was asked in 2004, a month before he passed away. He was asked a very intriguing question. He was asked, what is the nature of the world as we see outside? People asked him, he keeps saying, from a nomadic world, the world we moved into an agricultural era, and from an agricultural era we moved into an industrial era. From industrial era we moved into information era. What's the nature of the world as it's unfolding before us? That is around the time when the world is flat, book had suggested that the world is a very different world. Words like the New World Order that started doing the rounds. When he was asked this question, he responded back, said, it's an era of GIVE, G-I-V-E. G for governance, I for innovation, B for value, and E for entrepreneurship. And when he said this, he put a special emphasis on the word value. That was around the time in your industry, the media industry, things started turning upside down. The so-called digital media had started carving a niche for itself when ad spends started getting committed to this sector called the digital media. From the print media and the visual media, something called as digital media started showing the rounds, and of course OOH as an acronym started happening out of four, which included all outdoor advertising, which had a digital component. And it's very interesting that the year 2004, when Prahlad mentioned this, was the year when ad spends started showing a qualitatively different trend in the world. That's where the kind of industry media has become. I was very touched to see that India, the ad spends, if you were to look at this industry, you actually registered the fastest growth among all the countries in the world. Last year, we had about 15% growth. This year, we projected to do 14%. And the world growth rate is stagnating at around 4.3%. We have actually grown at roughly 4 times the world in terms of the ad spend, though in terms of size, we are only about 80,678 crores last year, which is roughly what, $11.5 billion in an industry which is probably 15 times this size in the world. We are not very large as a market shareholder, but we are very significant as one of the fastest growing ad spend markets in the world. And the composition is also quite interesting from what I see. And days are gone when print was all dominant. Today the share of print is hardly 23%. From a time not too long ago, which is hardly 20 years ago, this would have been as high as 50% of the market share. So here is an industry which is going through humongous changes, and I'm very delighted to declare this meet open, where a day of learning, where all the stakeholders in this industry, it is classified as a CCI in the World Study of Industries and by the London Business School, where cultural and creative industries is a category which is being evolved. And they have actually declared this to be the fastest growing industry from an employment point of view around the world. And as one of the top 3 sectors of CCI, media today has been registering one of the highest growth rates from an employment point of view. And I have great pleasure in declaring this open. I want to just look at the touchstone that Prahlad gave for success in this new era of GIL, G for governance. I hope this meet will discuss these 3 parts of what I call as the touchstones of any industry. So the first is the governance in this industry. As you would know, media is fairly unregulated, and I would hazard a guess that it's one of the freest media in anywhere in the world, I would say. The 4th pillar of democracy, so to speak. And I would imagine that we have much higher levels of freedom compared to most countries in the world. So the governance has to be largely self-governance. And that self-governance, regulatory bodies, Press Council of India, and a whole lot of bodies, I like this forum to discuss and distill your wisdom in the form of a monograph as to what kind of governance changes you'd like to seek from the media point of view. The second, of course, is the innovation part. There have been many innovative aspects which have come from a technology point of view. In the last 10 years, the most dominant thinking in the technology world is platform thinking. Platform is the most important buzzword in the last 10 years, whether it's Uberization, which is a process by which you create a platform where the buyer and the seller comes and does business themselves. There are some who say internet itself is nothing more than a platform. Okay, so the idea of platform thinking, which is the most important driver of innovation in most industries, seem to be transforming media also. Media buying and media selling especially. Let me wish my friends 4th Dimension who have in a way triggered this summit all the very best, because in a way they are in a platform business. Value-added platform business, I would say. So I would imagine the value-added platform players who have been abound in this industry, in the media industry, as in many other industries, are bringing in a huge dose of innovation. Get the best bang for your ad spend buck kind of mantra, and with that, emerging many innovative ideas where now people are using AI, people are using analytics to kind of get an idea about the impact your ad spend is creating. Of course, now even political parties are retaining now the analytics plus media impact understanding organizations. The last elections, parliament elections, apparently supposed to have had over 1,000 crores being spent by the political parties on these so-called cephalological, analytical, and media impact agencies, which is a new animal in the media play, really, where there are parties I know who made very distinctive changes in the even the manifestos based on the analysis and the impact analysis created by, understood by some of the organizations right here. And there are, of course, political leaders who used to even make changes in the costumes they wear, in the kind of words they choose and the slogans they choose, and the places they visit, the postures that they take, based on the impact on the larger community, impact on the larger masses. So this entire new subsector called media analytics, partly born on web analytics, now coming in as a separate domain itself, is to be a very innovative thing. So innovation, we value is the thing I like to again deliberate. The valuations in this industry last year has cemented is what I hear, media and associated industry sectors. But don't forget that it's hardly 10 years since the media companies have started getting valuations. I still remember, if you include print media, visual media, and internet media, digital media together, the real low valuations, I used to remember when my company I took through the venture capital route. At those times, media companies' valuations used to be very low at that time because many of the governments did not recognize media companies as legitimate companies in the first place at that point in time. I still remember around 99, 2000 kind of a period when a major demand used to be to recognize media as an industry. And now I think days have passed when now the questions were getting raised, like for the Tamil government now for our scheme for the new generation entrepreneurs, what we call as needs. Now media is seen as equal an industry as a manufacturing industry, which is now you can get 5 crores of your bank funding, 25 lakhs of it is subsidy, and the rest of the 4.75 crores is very hugely subsidized loan, hardly 3% interest is what you get there. So similarly, many state governments have extended the so-called industry status to even funding the media and new media creations. That's why you see much less of the kind of monopoly which you used to have, or duopoly which you used to have in the initial period of media sectors, especially the sector related to cable connections. Today it's a very hot topic today, as well as the cable connections here in this place is concerned. Many states it's been so. So breaking through monopolies and duopolies in this sector of media has again been an important contribution that government has done. And the fourth one is entrepreneurship. In my view, I like to underline the fact that media has some of the highest per capita entrepreneurs in this whole country among any industry, if you were to look at. So being on your own is so easy in the media industry, and you have been fostering entrepreneurship in a certain way. I'd like to raise in this meet, I wanted to even discuss, can this organization, which is getting created here, the media organizations, foster a venture capital or at least a micro venture capital for media as a sector? If you can do that, I'm sure there are many young media interested people who would be wanting to be on their own, spinning away from the formal jobs that they have elsewhere. And it's an industry where very little entry barriers exist. but I think we need to create support mechanisms for the e-entrepreneurship to flourish forth. So I'd like to finish with the same quote by Prahlad. This is an era of governance, innovation, value, and entrepreneurship. On these four touchstones can this day of learning blossom forth to create some pointers for where this industry should go with all the stakeholders, the creative people, the media interlocutors, the kind of owners who are here, the entrepreneurs who are creating media companies, and of course the technology people who are providing the infrastructure for media to capture all the newest technologies and take this to be number one in the world. I was very, very sorry to see that we are only 10th largest in terms of media industry in the world, and I really hope that time will come we will be number one in the world as far as the media industry is concerned. And if our GDP wise we are at number 7 in the world, and we're only number 10 in terms of media industry size in the world, we need to catch up with the rest of the world. We need to be truly global in terms of the media content that gets created here. And all these are pointers to the future. May your second media summit reach the summit of excellence. All the very best. Thank you.
Simple letters, you've set the context with absolute clarity and speaking from the heart. Thank you so much, sir. I now invite Mr. Shankar B, Chief Executive Officer at Food Damage Media Solutions Private Limited, to present the memento to the dignitaries on stage.
Photographer.